We live in a world that is constantly loud and moving at high speed, yet we're remarkably disciplined about maintaining our physical health. We eat nutritious food, we visit doctors when we're ill, and keep up with our vaccines. However, our internal world rarely receives that same level of care. We often let our minds run on autopilot until the daily stress accumulates into a weight that eventually feels too heavy to bear. To address this imbalance, we're going to explore a structured approach called the mental garden, a set of 3 daily habits designed to create a consistent internal space for reflection. This system is built on the concept of vipassana. It requires learning to separate the part of you that observes a situation from the part of you that reacts to it emotionally. Achieving a sense of calm in a chaotic environment relies on systematically changing how you observe and process the phenomena around you. This shift begins with how we perceive reality, illustrated by the classic analogy of a glass of water on a table. An optimist feels joy because it's half full. A pessimist feels sorrow because it's half empty. Both project emotions onto physical objects. A rational approach ignores projections and observes facts. Water volume is exactly 50% of capacity. No judgment, just reality. In this practice, we are training ourselves to view dharmas, or life events, as phenomena to be observed rather than feelings to be inhabited. By removing emotional baggage from our daily observations, we can perceive our surroundings with more clarity and reduce the initial spark of anxiety. You can practice this right now by identifying your current emotional state. Pause and ask yourself, are you curious, relaxed, or perhaps anxious about something later today? Just 3 seconds of stopping to ask that question allows you to step back. In that moment of identification, you have effectively stepped out of the emotion to look back at it from an external perspective. This is the role of the prime self. Imagine an internal observer whose only job is to quietly monitor your thoughts and feelings without getting swept up in them. To make this work, the observer must remain neutral. If you begin to judge an emotion as good or bad, you've stopped observing and started reacting again. If anger arises, your prime self simply notes, I am experiencing anger right now. The observer sees the anger, but does not become angry itself. Maintaining this internal observer prevents a single negative emotion from defining your entire identity. You remain the consciousness that is watching the emotion pass by. This process of observation is how you tend to your internal landscape, which we can compare to a garden. If a mind is left untended and tangled, it can be easily overwhelmed by an unexpected storm or crisis. But a garden that is watered and cared for daily develops deep roots that allow it to stand firm. Building those roots requires moving from theory to 3 specific daily habits. Step 1 is to provide the mind with rest. Give yourself a deliberate period every day away from digital scrolling and the demands of others to let your internal noise settle. Step 2 is the silent dialogue. Take a moment to quietly acknowledge your inner state, using the prime self to check in on how you are feeling. Step 3 is planting a positive thought. Immediately upon waking, consciously send a beautiful wish or intention out into the universe to prime your mind for the day ahead. These 3 habits, feeding and resting, silent check-ins, and planting positive thoughts, form the core of the daily routine. Small, quiet habits like these compound over time. By consistently priming your mind each morning, you develop a baseline of resilience against the chaos of the day. This regular maintenance prevents emotional exhaustion from building up unnoticed, which is often the primary cause of burnout. Practicing these steps daily creates a predictable internal environment where you can process stress as it happens, rather than letting it accumulate. To understand the urgency of starting this routine, consider a final thought experiment involving a 2-minute angel. Imagine you are walking down the street and an angel appears, telling you that you have exactly 120 seconds left to live. In those final 2 minutes, would you spend your time holding on to a grudge, or would you finally let it go to appreciate the world around you? Most of us have decades left to live, yet we often wait until the very end to prioritize our own peace of mind. You have the time right now to tend to your garden. Don't wait for your final minutes. Begin your daily routine and take care of your mind today.